Let's go ahead and let's talk about a little bit about Autopano Giga. This is a very quick overview. In the past, we've talked about Autopano Video Pro. Video Pro's function is to grab all your clips, in this case 10 clips, synchronize them, and stitch them. And if you were to hit preview or play to see how things are looking, because it is actually managing your video clips, you will get movement. Slow, but you will get some. Autopano Giga is very different. Autopano Giga is designed not only for video, but its main function or its original function was to assist in the creation of stitching images, creating panoramic or 360 files of images that have been taken. That's why you have something like this function called import from, and they all look like images. You can also select images this way. You can do settings. You can group the types of images that you want. But for what we are using Autopano Giga is to be able to go and perfect our stitching, our color, our masking, and our blending for a 360 video. So as we have seen in the past, when you're working in Autopano Video Pro and you have done your synchronization and your stitching, once it gets time to refine, to find the horizon line and all that stuff, you hit Edit in Autopano Video Pro and that will open to this window. This is what it has taken from the video that we were working on in Autopano Video Pro. The moment you hit Edit, then it's going to open the window where you can begin doing the precision post-production that you need in order to make the stitching, the color, and the blending properly on Autopano Giga. So we hit Edit, and I'm going to recreate that because I'm actually rendering something. That's why it's probably a little noisy. And here we are. Normally where you are is that it opens right here and it gives you your image, it gives you your cameras. See how it is handy to name your cameras. So camera 7 is the number 7 here. It's going to give you information about how your RMS is. RMS is just a mathematical formula that takes all the angles, the deviation of the lenses, how the chips in the cameras are reading the videos, and how they are curved in order to slowly but surely make the image that's the panel image. It's another way they call it is the parallax, and that is that intersection where the concaveness of the lens, the curving of the shot, how all of these elements need to be taken into account mathematically in order to be combined and form an image that's not going to look abnormal. So here is when you are ready to work, and if you scroll the mouse, all you're going to see is the different cameras and how each one has shot a particular angle in order to build the panoramic image that we currently are using for this video. This is what you have. This is called projection settings, and this all has to do with when it gets time to do playback of these images together or stitch. How will that look like? In this case, we are going to keep it the way that you see it right now, this very white rectangle, because if you are using YouTube, or if you're using the Google Cardboard, or if you're using your phone by itself and not using any goggles or any head mounting devices that want to emulate 3D effects, this is the way you want it. That's why it is so important before you begin to shoot to understand what platform you are going to use for your final product, because you need to make these decisions here. This is when you have shots that haven't been stitched properly. You can rotate the whole panoramic view. In other words, if this were to be upside down, or if it were to be split, where half of it is, let's say this whole half right here is looking this way, where the ceiling is in this direction and the ceiling is in this direction, it can happen. The horizon line can be completely messed up. Then these are the tools that you will use to try and accommodate these items. The same thing with modify yaw, pitch, and roll. This is auto fit, which means that it will fit the images in order to complete the type of projection setting that you're using. In this case, it's our very big rectangle that we're using here. This is to crop in case the image is bigger than what you need. Remember, I want to emphasize that Autopano Giga has two functions. Function 1 is for photographic images. Function 2 is to assist in perfecting the stitching, the masking, the blending, the color, those little details that you need to take into account to produce your 360 video. That's why you have these adjustments. Now, this is right here, the automatic horizon. This is if you think that you're having issues with your horizon at the time when you stitch in Autopano Video Pro, you hit edit and it opens in Autopano Giga. If your horizon is out of whack, this is the button that you press and the software will do its best to align the video. If there are still issues, or if after you have stitched there are items that are vertical but are not looking vertical, have a lot of curving, then this is what you use to perfect those items. If for some reason your horizon is not fixed totally by the automatic horizon function, this is another way to tell the software, please make these lines straight, because they are supposed to be straight and they're supposed to go up and down. You tell them, you use a few as a reference, and that will also assist the software in making sure that it is stitching and creating the horizon line that it should be. Right here is where we are right now. This is your panoramic or your images mode, and this is it's considering all of these images, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. Let's go to move images. It's very precise on moving images, and here you see all the different camera angles. Now, again, Autopano Video Pro takes care of handling all your clips, all your video clips from, in this case, the pan camera rig. What Autopano Giga does, the moment you hit edit on Autopano Video Pro, what it does is that it creates a reference of still images of your camera angles. So you are not actually working on a video at this point in Autopano Giga, and you will never be working on a video in Autopano Giga. All you will be doing is readjusting these static images that refer back to the camera angles that you originally shot and originally stitched and synchronized in Autopano Video Pro. It's a very important distinction, because here you cannot go, if you have movement for example, and make a change for one particular movement set when you have already made and established changes on a previous movement set. Because again, these are reference image, they are static images, they will not move. So in case you have movement, you have to work with movement and the stitching sections in a combination of using Autopano Video Pro to select the section where there is movement, and then edit in Autopano Giga that selection of the areas of movement. Then you go back to Autopano Video Pro, and hopefully those changes have been altered or modified for that particular section of your video where there is that particular movement where the stitching is completely off. Again, Autopano Video Pro is to handle video, Autopano Giga is to handle images. So that's the function that we do to do movement of particular, can be the whole thing, which is the panoramic view, or it can be in this case, as a selected pictures, I could literally move any of these angles if I wanted to. Then in control points, this is our control point editor. This is what is going to let us know how well our stitch has been done. And right now everything is in green. We will go into more detail on control points in another tutorial. Then also in the control point editor, you can choose different camera angles, and again, handy that we have named the camera clips to match the camera angles, so that then we can create different control points and start refining and what they call optimizing our control points in order to perfect our stitching. Then at that point, I'm going to close this. We are going to go into the next item, which is mask. In mask, this is where we will see how the clips have been joined together in different functions. This is the finalized mask that I had to do in order to deal with some issues I had with the tables, with chairs, and some of the people who are in the shot. You can use this section right here to indicate and move the mask one way, or remove something that the current mask is showing so that it doesn't get seen. Color, in this case, is auto. That's what we are using. Then this is what it is, the levels, how bright or how dark the shot is. I am going to let you know that while it is fine that you do this in Autopano Giga, I will advise you to do this in your video editor. This is a function called fusion, and this is for images, where it will fuse these images together and create a mosaic. This is your blending, and I know that we talked about blending in Autopano Video Pro. This is the same function. And then this is your render, a different type of render. Again, we go back to the fact that Autopano Giga only handles images. So the rendering for Autopano Giga is to export the combination of all your images and create one panoramic large image, not a video. That's where you go into Autopano Video Pro.